What if I told you that the best version of yourself, the one you've dreamed about, the one with balance, fulfillment, and purpose, doesn't require a massive life overhaul? It's not about chasing impossible goals or making overwhelming changes that leave you burnt out by February. Instead, it's about small, intentional habits. Habits that, practiced daily, can transform your life from the inside out. Imagine changes so simple, yet so profound, that they don't just make you more productive or focused, they bring you inner peace, clarity, and a deep sense of joy. Doesn't that sound refreshing? A path where growth isn't about doing more but about being more. As we stand at the close of another year, a time when we naturally reflect on what went right, what went wrong, and what we could have done better, it's easy to feel a mix of emotions. Maybe you're proud of some milestones. Or maybe you feel a pang of regret for goals left unfulfilled. But here's a thought: instead of pinning your hopes on big, grand resolutions for the coming year, what if you focused on the small steps that truly make a difference? Imagine waking up on January 1st, 2025, with a sense of calm and clarity. Your mind feels sharper, your heart stronger, and your life more aligned with your deepest values. You look back and see not a year of frantic, fleeting efforts but a steady rhythm of habits that quietly but powerfully shaped you into a better version of yourself. That future starts today, with the choices you make now. This guide isn't about quick fixes or fleeting motivation. Instead, it's inspired by timeless Buddhist teachings, principles of mindfulness, compassion, and discipline that have helped people find peace and fulfillment for centuries. And the beauty is, these teachings aren't reserved for monks meditating on mountaintops. They're incredibly practical and adaptable to the fast-paced, modern lives we lead. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore 12 transformative habits that will help you realign your actions with your values, stay rooted in the present, and foster growth in every area of your life. These habits are your tools, your building blocks, for creating a foundation of sustainable transformation. They're not just about what you do but about who you become in the process. So, what's in it for you? By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, actionable roadmap that will guide you toward living with more intention, balance, and joy. Each habit is simple, achievable, and designed to fit seamlessly into your life. You won't just learn what these habits are, you'll discover how to make them a natural part of your daily routine. But before we dive in, take a moment to pause. Take a deep breath. Picture the life you want to create, one filled with clarity, peace, and purpose. What if, starting today, you had the power to shape that life, one mindful step at a time? Let's begin this journey together. Your transformation isn't a far-off dream, it's a series of small, deliberate choices you make every day. And it starts right here, right now. Are you ready to discover the habits that will help you become the person you've always wanted to be? Let's take the first step. 1. Start each day with gratitude. When was the last time you paused, truly paused, and felt grateful the moment you opened your eyes? Not for the grand achievements or monumental moments, but for the quiet, simple gifts that greet you every day without fanfare. The warmth of your bed cocooning you, the soft light filtering through your curtains, or the steady rhythm of your breath, proof of another day to try, to grow, and to love. These moments of grace often pass unnoticed, but they are where gratitude begins. Gratitude, in its essence, is one of the simplest yet most transformative habits you can cultivate. It's not about forcing positivity or ignoring life's challenges, it's about gently redirecting your focus to what's already here. Buddhism teaches that gratitude is a natural extension of mindfulness. When we are present, truly present, we can see the extraordinary in the ordinary, the quiet miracle of life unfolding in its smallest details. Imagine waking up each morning and choosing to begin with a moment of acknowledgement, the comfort of your bed, the sound of birds greeting the day, the stillness before the world stirs. Starting your day with gratitude shifts your perspective. Instead of being weighed down by what's missing, you start to notice what's abundant. This simple act rewires your mindset, creating a ripple effect that transforms not just your day, but your interactions, your relationships, and your outlook on life. Picture this: instead of reaching for your phone the moment your alarm goes off, you take a deep breath. In the stillness of those first few moments, you think of 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's the laughter of a loved one, the promise of a fresh start, or even something as humble as the smell of coffee brewing in the kitchen. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures, its power lies in its simplicity. When you choose to focus on gratitude, even the smallest joys take on a new vibrancy. The warmth of sunlight on your face becomes a reminder of life's quiet beauty. A brief smile exchanged with a stranger becomes a gift. And in moments of difficulty, gratitude anchors you. It reminds you of your strength, your resilience, and the support around you. Even when life feels overwhelming. Take Jane, for example. Jane is a single mom with a hectic schedule. Most mornings, she woke up already burdened by her long to-do list, feeling rushed and overwhelmed before her feet even touched the floor. But one day, she decided to try something different. Each morning, before diving into her day, she spent just a minute naming 3 things she was grateful for. At first, it felt small, even trivial. But over time, she noticed a shift. The aroma of her morning coffee, the sound of her child's laughter, the simple joy of a quiet sunrise, these became her touchstones. Gratitude didn't erase her challenges, but it gave her the clarity and calm to face them with a lighter heart. The habit of gratitude transformed her mornings from moments of stress to opportunities for connection and peace. If you'd like to take this habit a step further, consider keeping a gratitude journal. At the start or end of each day, jot down 3 things you're thankful for. Writing them down makes your gratitude tangible, a record you can revisit on difficult days. Over time, this practice becomes a source of positivity and strength. You may also find that speaking your gratitude aloud deepens its impact. Whether you share it with a loved one, say it to yourself, or simply voice it to the universe, these words turn gratitude from a fleeting thought into a heartfelt declaration. Gratitude is not a cure-all. It doesn't shield you from life's challenges, but it equips you with the perspective to navigate them with resilience and grace. It's like a lantern, illuminating the path in even the darkest moments. Gratitude changes the way you see yourself and the world. It shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from what's missing to what's already here. It reminds you that even in imperfection, there is beauty, and even in struggle, there is strength. So tomorrow morning, before the rush of the day begins, give yourself the gift of a moment. Take a breath, look around, and notice the quiet blessings that surround you. You might be surprised at how profoundly this small act can change your day, and, eventually, your life. Gratitude isn't a destination, it's a way of being. A practice that grows deeper with time. Start small, And watch how it transforms not just how you feel, but how you live. 2. Practice daily mindfulness. Have you ever found yourself eating a meal, only to finish and realize you barely tasted it? Or driving a familiar route, and arriving at your destination with no memory of the journey? This is life on autopilot, a state where we're physically present but mentally miles away, caught in an endless loop of rushing, worrying, and doing. It's a cycle that leaves us feeling disconnected from the richness of our own lives. But there's a way out of this haze: mindfulness. Mindfulness invites us to come home to the present moment. It's not about forcing yourself to think positively or clearing your mind entirely. Instead, it's about simply noticing, tuning into the sights, sounds, and sensations of the here and now without judgment. In Buddhism, mindfulness is more than a practice, it's a way of life, a path to true awareness. It teaches us to anchor ourselves in the present, where life is happening, rather than getting lost in regrets about the past or worries about the future. Imagine the power of living fully in the moment. Even in the most mundane parts of your day, washing dishes, for instance, could become an act of meditation. Feel the warmth of the water on your hands. Notice the texture of the soap bubbles. Hear the soft clinking of the dishes. Suddenly, this ordinary task transforms into an experience of peace and presence. Or think about your morning coffee. Instead of rushing through it, what if you savored the aroma, the heat of the cup in your hands, and the first sip on your tongue? Mindfulness teaches us that even the simplest moments hold beauty and meaning if we take the time to notice them. This doesn't mean you need to spend hours in meditation to experience mindfulness. It can start with something as simple as your breath. The breath is always with you, a constant rhythm grounding you in the present. Take a moment right now to pause. Inhale deeply, feeling the air enter your lungs. Exhale slowly, letting your body relax. Notice the sensations, the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. In that single breath, you've stepped out of the chaos and into the calm of now. Throughout your day, you can practice mindfulness in countless small ways. Try checking in with yourself periodically. Pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? What is happening in this moment? These simple questions bring awareness to your thoughts and emotions, allowing you to respond to life with clarity rather than react out of habit. Whether you're walking, talking, or even just sitting quietly, mindfulness is always available to you as a tool to reconnect with yourself and the world around you. David's story is a perfect example of how mindfulness can bring profound change to our daily lives. A high-powered corporate executive, David was constantly overwhelmed by stress and burnout. His days were packed with meetings and deadlines, leaving little room for reflection or peace. One day, he decided to try something new during his daily walks. Instead of zoning out or ruminating on work, he focused on the present. He noticed the crunch of leaves beneath his feet, the gentle rhythm of his breathing, the way sunlight filtered through the trees. These small moments of awareness didn't take extra time or effort, but they transformed his walks into a sanctuary of calm. Over time, David found himself feeling less anxious, more focused, and surprisingly at ease, even amidst the demands of his busy life. Mindfulness isn't about changing the world around you, it's about changing how you experience it. Life is filled with noise and chaos, and we can't always control the external circumstances, but we can control how we respond. Mindfulness helps us see clearly, to pause and choose our actions with intention. It doesn't shield us from life's challenges, but it gives us the tools to navigate them with resilience and grace. The beauty of mindfulness is its accessibility. You don't need a special setting, expensive equipment, or hours of free time. All you need is the willingness to pause and notice. Start small. Maybe it's taking 3 mindful breaths when you wake up in the morning, or focusing fully on the sensation of water as you wash your hands. These moments may seem insignificant, but they're the building blocks of a more grounded and connected life. The more you practice mindfulness, the more it becomes second nature. You'll find yourself feeling calmer, more focused, and more attuned to the world around you. Even in the midst of a busy day, you'll have the ability to step back, take a breath, and center yourself. It's a gift you give to yourself, a way of reclaiming the richness of life. One moment at a time. Life is not happening in the past or the future. It's happening right now. In this breath. In this moment. And by practicing mindfulness, you open yourself to the fullness of this present moment, where peace, clarity, and connection await. So, why not begin now? Take a deep breath. Let it anchor you in the here and now. And let mindfulness guide you back to the beauty of your life. 3. Spend time in silence. In a world filled with constant noise, emails pinging, phones buzzing, conversations overlapping, silence can feel like a foreign, almost unsettling experience. We're so used to the hum of activity that when silence enters, it can seem awkward or even uncomfortable. But what if I told you that silence holds a power far greater than any external sound? It's not just the absence of noise, it's an invitation to reconnect with yourself. To hear the thoughts beneath the chatter, and to feel the calm that exists beyond the chaos. Buddhism teaches that silence is essential for self-awareness and inner clarity. Think of your mind as a pond. When the surface is stirred by constant ripples, thoughts, emotions, distractions, you can't see through to the bottom. But when the water is still, everything becomes clear. That is the gift of silence. It allows the ripples to settle, revealing the truths that lie beneath. In the quiet, you're not trying to silence your thoughts. Instead, you're simply observing them. Thoughts will come, and that's okay. Imagine them as clouds drifting across the sky. You don't need to chase them, analyze them, or judge them. Just notice them. Acknowledge their presence, and let them float by. Silence isn't about achieving emptiness, it's about creating space, space to breathe, to reflect, and to just be. Start small. You don't need hours of solitude or a perfectly tranquil setting. Even 5 to 10 minutes of intentional silence each day can make a difference. Find a comfortable spot where you won't be disturbed. Maybe it's a corner of your home, a quiet park bench, or even your car before you step into the busyness of your day. Sit down. Close your eyes if it feels right. And take a deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs and slowly release it. In this moment, you don't need to do anything or be anywhere else. You are enough, just as you are. For Anna, a teacher juggling the demands of work and family, silence became her lifeline. Each evening, after her children were in bed and the house quieted, she carved out 10 minutes to sit in stillness. At first, her mind raced with thoughts of lesson plans, grocery lists, and unfinished tasks. But as she continued the practice, something shifted. Those 10 minutes became her sanctuary. She found that in the silence, she could untangle her thoughts, release the tension she'd been holding, and approach her challenges with a calmer, clearer mindset. It wasn't about fixing everything in those moments, it was about finding the clarity and strength to face the next day with grace. The beauty of silence is that it meets you where you are. Some days, it may feel like a deep exhale, a moment to rest in the stillness. Other days, it might be a space for reflection, where you notice emotions or patterns you hadn't seen before. Whatever it brings, silence gives you the freedom to explore your inner world without distraction or judgment. It's a place where you can simply exist. Silence isn't about escaping life's noise but learning to navigate it with balance and resilience. The noise of the world won't go away. But when you cultivate moments of silence, you carry a piece of that stillness with you into your daily life. You become less reactive and more intentional. You listen more deeply, not just to others, but to yourself. You find that even in the busiest, noisiest moments, there's a calm center within you that you can return to. Think about the last time you truly sat in silence. Maybe it was on a hike, surrounded by nature's quiet rhythm. Or perhaps it was a rare moment at home, when the world seemed to pause for just a moment. How did it feel? Did you notice your breath? Did the absence of sound make space for something else? Clarity, peace, or even creativity? Those moments are precious, and they're always available to you, no matter how noisy life becomes. By creating intentional silence, you're not only giving yourself a break from the external world, but you're also cultivating a relationship with your inner self. In those quiet moments, you might discover things about yourself that the noise had drowned out, dreams, fears, or even simple joys. Silence has a way of bringing the truth to the surface, gently but unmistakably. So why not begin today? Find a corner, a chair, or even a patch of grass, and give yourself the gift of a few minutes of silence. No agenda, no expectations, just a moment to breathe and be. At first, it might feel strange, even challenging, as your mind fills the space with thoughts. But over time, you'll find that the practice becomes a refuge, a place you can return to for clarity and calm. In the stillness, you'll discover that silence isn't empty. It's full of possibility, insight, and peace. It's a space where you can reconnect with the parts of yourself that the world often drowns out. And in doing so, you'll find the strength and clarity to move through life with a little more ease, a little more intention, and a lot more grace. Silence isn't just a break from the noise, it's the foundation for a deeper, more balanced way of living. Take a moment to embrace it, and let it guide you back to yourself. 4. Journal for emotional balance. Have you ever felt like your emotions were running wild, pulling you in every direction, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and unsure of how to move forward? It's a state we've all been in, where thoughts and feelings swirl like a storm, clouding our ability to think clearly or act decisively. In moments like these, it's easy to feel stuck. But what if there was a simple, accessible tool that could help you navigate through the chaos and find clarity? That tool is journaling. Journaling is more than just putting pen to paper. It's a practice of self-awareness, a quiet conversation with yourself where you can untangle the complexities of your mind and heart. Rooted in the principles of Buddhist self-awareness, journaling allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, creating a space to process, understand, and ultimately release them. It's not about writing a polished narrative, it's about giving your inner world a voice. Buddhist teachings often compare the mind to a lake. When the surface of the lake is disturbed by winds, our distractions, worries, and emotional upheavals, it becomes murky. In that state, we can't see what lies beneath. But when the winds settle and the water becomes still, the depths of the lake are revealed with clarity. Journaling acts as a tool to still the waters of your mind. By transferring your thoughts onto the page, you create a space to reflect and let the ripples of emotion calm down. The beauty of journaling lies in its simplicity. You don't need to be a writer or have hours of free time. It can start with just 5 to 10 minutes a day. You might sit down in the quiet of the morning to set intentions for your day. Or you might use it in the evening to reflect on what unfolded. The key is to show up honestly, without worrying about grammar, structure, or how your words look on the page. This is your safe space. A judgment-free zone where your inner voice can be heard. Imagine this: you're sitting with your journal after a particularly challenging day. You begin writing down everything that's on your mind, your frustrations, your fears, your victories. No matter how small, as the words flow, you start to see patterns emerge. You realize that what you thought was anger was actually frustration at feeling unheard. Or that the stress you've been carrying isn't about the task itself but the pressure you've been placing on yourself. The act of writing doesn't just help you release those feelings, it helps you understand them. Sarah's story is a perfect example of this transformative practice. A college student balancing a heavy workload, Sarah often found herself paralyzed by anxiety. Her mind raced with thoughts of deadlines and expectations, leaving her feeling powerless. One night, she decided to try journaling. She wrote down everything she was worried about, along with a few small steps she could take the next day to address them. Over time, this simple habit became a nightly ritual. By externalizing her worries onto the page, she felt lighter, as if the act of writing had lifted the weight off her chest. What once felt like an overwhelming storm of emotions became a series of manageable challenges. Sarah didn't just gain clarity, she gained control. Journaling is, at its heart, a dialogue with yourself. It's an opportunity to ask questions like, what am I feeling right now? Or what did I learn today? These reflective prompts guide you toward understanding your emotions, not just reacting to them. And while the practice often brings clarity to challenges, it can also be a space to celebrate the positives. Ending your journaling session with 1 or 2 things you're grateful for helps shift your mindset toward abundance and gratitude, reinforcing a sense of balance and perspective. Think of journaling as a mirror, not the kind that reflects your outward appearance, but one that reveals the depths of your inner self. With each entry, you gain insights into who you are, how you feel, and what truly matters to you. Over time, these reflections become a map of your growth, showing how far you've come and helping you navigate the path ahead. The impact of journaling isn't immediate, it's cumulative. At first, it might feel like a small, insignificant act, but with consistency, you'll notice its quiet power. You'll find that the act of putting your thoughts into words helps untangle them, giving you a sense of clarity and calm. You'll start to recognize patterns in your emotions and responses, equipping you with the self-awareness to approach life's challenges with greater balance. And most importantly, you'll deepen your connection with yourself. If you've ever felt like your emotions are running the show, journaling is an invitation to take back the reins. It's not about controlling your feelings but understanding them, giving them space to breathe and be seen. So, grab a notebook and a pen, and start with just one thought. Write down what's on your mind, no matter how messy or trivial it may seem. With each entry, you'll find that the act of writing brings a sense of relief, like exhaling after holding your breath for too long. And in that relief, you'll discover a newfound clarity and balance that carries over into every part of your life. 5. Meditate daily. In a world that seems to demand more of us every day, where distractions pull us in countless directions and chaos often feels like the norm, the idea of finding inner calm can seem almost mythical. Yet, there's a quiet practice that offers not only a refuge from the noise but also a way to transform how we move through life: meditation. For centuries, meditation has been the cornerstone of Buddhist practice, a path to self-discovery, resilience, and spiritual growth. But its beauty lies in its universality. It's not reserved for spiritual seekers or ancient monks. Meditation is for everyone, and its benefits extend far beyond the spiritual realm. Meditation isn't about silencing your thoughts or achieving a perfectly still mind. That's a common misconception. Instead, it's about observing your thoughts as they arise. Much like watching clouds drift across the sky. Some clouds are light and fluffy, others are heavy and stormy. The key is to notice them without attachment or judgment, letting them pass and returning your focus to the present moment again and again. This act of returning, of gently guiding your attention back, is where the power of meditation lies. Imagine starting your day with just 5 minutes of stillness. You sit comfortably in a quiet corner of your home, your hands resting gently in your lap, and you close your eyes. Your breath becomes your anchor. You notice the cool air entering your nostrils, the warmth as it leaves. At first, your mind might race, a to-do list here, a lingering worry there. That's perfectly normal. Instead of fighting the distractions, you acknowledge them, almost as if saying, "I see you." And then gently guide your attention back to your breath. Each time you do this, you're building the muscle of mindfulness, training your mind to stay present. Mark's story illustrates how meditation can create a profound shift in even the busiest lives. As a tech worker juggling high-pressure deadlines and constant demands, Mark often felt overwhelmed. His mind was a whirlwind of tasks and worries, leaving him drained and unfocused. One day, after hearing about meditation's benefits, he decided to give it a try. At first, it was anything but easy. Sitting still felt foreign, and his thoughts seemed louder than ever. But he committed 5 minutes a day. Slowly, over weeks, something began to change. He noticed a sense of calm creeping into his mornings, a steadiness that carried him through his hectic days. He became more focused, less reactive, and better equipped to handle challenges. Meditation didn't erase his stresses, but it gave him the clarity and resilience to face them with grace. The beauty of meditation is its simplicity. You don't need fancy equipment, a specific setting, or even a large chunk of time. What you need is a willingness to begin. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, whether on a chair, a cushion, or even the edge of your bed. Close your eyes if it feels natural, and take a deep breath. Focus on the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. That's it. As your mind inevitably wanders, gently guide it back to your breath. This process, repeated daily, is where transformation begins. Meditation is not about achieving perfection. There's no right way to do it. And every session will be different. Some days your mind will feel calm and clear, while others it may seem like a runaway train of thoughts. Both experiences are valid, and both are part of the practice. The goal isn't to eliminate thoughts but to create a space where you can observe them without being controlled by them. Over time, this practice cultivates a deep sense of presence, a groundedness that becomes your anchor in the storm. Consistency is key. Set aside a specific time each day for your practice. Morning often works well, as it sets a tone of mindfulness for the day ahead. But if evenings are quieter for you, let meditation be your way of winding down. The important thing is to make it a habit, a daily gift you give yourself. Even 5 minutes can make a difference. As you build this practice, you'll notice its ripple effects: greater focus, reduced stress, and an increased ability to navigate life's ups and downs with clarity and resilience. Think of meditation as a tool for cultivating inner peace, one that becomes more powerful the more you use it. It's not about escaping the chaos of life but about learning to find calm within it. With each breath, you're training your mind to return to the present, where life truly happens. Over time, this simple practice can transform how you see the world and your place in it. So, take a moment to pause. Close your eyes, and let your breath guide you back to yourself. Let meditation remind you that beneath the noise and distractions, there is a calm, steady presence that is always there, waiting for you to return. And as you practice, you'll discover that this inner calm isn't something you have to search for, it's something you've had all along. Meditation is simply the key to unlocking it. 6. Practice self-discipline. We all love the rush of motivation, that spark of excitement when we set a new goal or imagine the person we want to become. But what happens when that spark dims? When the initial energy fades and the day-to-day grind sets in? This is where self-discipline comes into play. Unlike motivation, which is fleeting, discipline is steady and reliable. It's the ability to show up for yourself, even when you don't feel like it, because you know the destination is worth the effort. In Buddhist philosophy, discipline is not about harsh self-control or punishing yourself into productivity. It's about cultivating inner strength and aligning your actions with your values and intentions. True discipline is compassionate and empowering. It's the framework that allows you to grow steadily toward your goals without being at the mercy of fleeting emotions. It's not about forcing yourself to climb the mountain in one leap, but about taking small, consistent steps every day. Imagine you've set a goal. Whether it's improving your health, learning a new skill, or building a meaningful habit like meditation or journaling. At first, the excitement carries you, and everything feels possible. But then life gets in the way. Distractions creep in. Enthusiasm wanes. And suddenly, skipping a day feels all too tempting. Discipline steps in as your anchor. It reminds you of why you started and gives you the strength to keep going, not through sheer willpower but through systems and habits that make showing up easier. Take Jake, for example. He dreamed of becoming a writer, but his attempts were sporadic. He waited for inspiration, writing only when he felt in the mood. Months passed, and his manuscript barely progressed. Frustrated, he decided to try a different approach. Instead of relying on bursts of motivation, he committed to writing for 30 minutes every day, no matter what. Some days the words flowed effortlessly, other days it felt like dragging rocks uphill, but he showed up. Over time, the act of writing became second nature, and the small daily efforts accumulated into something extraordinary, his first completed novel. Discipline didn't just help him achieve his goal, it transformed how he saw himself. He became someone who could follow through, who could trust himself to do the work. This is the power of discipline. It's not about being perfect or pushing yourself to exhaustion. It's about consistency. about making small, manageable choices every day that align with your larger vision. Start by setting clear, realistic goals. Instead of aiming to overhaul your entire routine, focus on one habit or task at a time. Break it down into small steps. If you're building a meditation practice, commit to just 5 minutes a day. If you're working toward a fitness goal, start with a 10-minute walk. These small wins build momentum, reinforcing your belief in your ability to succeed. Creating routines is another key to cultivating discipline. When you integrate habits into your daily schedule, you reduce the mental energy needed to make decisions. You don't have to debate whether to meditate, journal, or exercise. It's simply part of your day. Like brushing your teeth, this structure frees up your mental bandwidth for other challenges while ensuring that the habits you care about don't fall by the wayside. Of course, distractions are one of the biggest obstacles to discipline. It's easy to lose focus when your phone buzzes constantly or when binge-worthy shows are just a click away. Identifying these distractions and setting boundaries is crucial. Maybe that means turning off notifications during focused work or setting specific times to check social media. It's not about depriving yourself but about protecting your time and energy for what truly matters. And don't forget to celebrate your progress. Discipline often gets a bad reputation as rigid or joyless. But it's actually a deeply rewarding practice. Every time you honor your commitments, you build self-trust and confidence. Take a moment to acknowledge your wins. No matter how small. Finished a week of consistent journaling. Take a walk to reflect on what you've learned. Stuck to your exercise routine for a month. Treat yourself to something that supports your goal, like a new yoga mat or running shoes. These celebrations reinforce the positive cycle of effort and reward, making it easier to stay on track. The truth is, discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. At first, it might feel difficult, even uncomfortable, to stick to your commitments when motivation has faded. But with time and practice, discipline becomes a part of who you are. It's no longer something you force yourself to do, it's simply how you move through life, one intentional step at a time. When you embrace self-discipline, you're not just achieving goals, you're transforming your relationship with yourself. You're proving that you can trust yourself to follow through, that you have the strength to navigate challenges, and that you're capable of creating the life you want. It's not about perfection or never slipping up. It's about getting back up, day after day, and continuing the journey. So, the next time motivation fades, remind yourself of this: discipline is your greatest ally. It's not here to make life harder but to make growth possible. Show up for yourself today, even if it's in the smallest way, because every small, consistent action you take builds the foundation for something extraordinary. And over time, you'll see that the discipline you cultivated wasn't just a tool for achieving your goals, it was the key to becoming the person you've always wanted to be. 7. Learn something new every day. The world around us is constantly evolving, new technologies emerge, ideas shift, and opportunities transform. It can feel overwhelming to keep up with it all. But here's the good news: you don't have to keep up with everything to stay relevant and inspired. What matters is cultivating a habit of learning something new every day. No matter how small, learning isn't just about accumulating knowledge, it's about staying curious, adaptable, and engaged with the world. It's about opening your mind to new possibilities and expanding your perspective. In Buddhism, this aligns with the practice of right view, a principle that encourages seeing the world as it truly is. It's a call to approach life with curiosity and a willingness to learn. To treat every moment as an opportunity for growth. When you commit to learning daily, you're not just enriching your mind, you're fostering a mindset of discovery. One that keeps you adaptable and resilient in a rapidly changing world. Learning doesn't have to be intimidating or time-consuming. You don't need to enroll in a university course or master a complex subject to make it meaningful. It can be as simple as reading an article that catches your interest, listening to a podcast on your commute, or observing something in nature that makes you pause and wonder. The key is to approach each day with curiosity and intention. Ask yourself, what can I learn today? How can I see the world in a new light? Emma's story shows just how transformative this practice can be. As a marketing professional, she had been feeling stuck in her career. The routines of her job, once exciting, had started to feel monotonous. She decided to dedicate just 15 minutes a day to learning something new, exploring social media trends, watching tutorials on personal development, and reading articles about industry innovations. At first, it seemed like a small step, almost insignificant. But over time, those 15 minutes added up. Within a year, Emma had not only refreshed her skills but also reignited her passion for her work. Her newfound knowledge led to fresh ideas, a promotion, and a deeper sense of purpose in her career. The beauty of daily learning is that it's not confined to one area of life. It can enrich your professional growth, enhance your personal relationships, or simply add joy to your day. For example, learning a new recipe can bring creativity to your kitchen, while exploring a different culture through a book or documentary can broaden your worldview. Each piece of knowledge, no matter how small, builds on the last, creating a foundation for a more informed and fulfilling life. One of the simplest ways to integrate learning into your routine is to set a daily goal. Dedicate 10 to 15 minutes to a learning activity that interests you. Maybe you'll dive into a chapter of a book, watch a tutorial on a skill you've always wanted to try, or have a conversation with someone who sees the world differently. The act of showing up for your learning habit, no matter how small, is what matters most. Keeping a learning journal can amplify this practice. Each day, jot down one thing you learned. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking, perhaps it's a fact you read, a skill you practiced, or an observation you made about yourself or the world around you. Over time, this journal becomes a record of growth, a tangible reminder of how much you've expanded your understanding of the world and your place in it. Curiosity is the engine that drives lifelong learning. It's the spark that makes us ask questions, explore ideas, and seek answers. When you nurture your curiosity, you stay open to the unexpected lessons life has to offer. Sometimes these lessons come from deliberate learning, like reading a book or attending a workshop. Other times, they emerge in surprising ways, a conversation with a stranger, a mistake that teaches resilience, or a moment of stillness that reveals a new perspective. As you commit to learning something new every day, you'll notice its ripple effects. You'll feel more engaged with life, more adaptable in the face of challenges, and more connected to the world around you. You'll find that learning isn't just about gaining knowledge, it's about expanding your capacity for wonder, understanding, and growth. The more you learn, the more you realize there's always more to discover, and that's what makes life so endlessly fascinating. So, what will you learn today? Maybe it's a small insight about yourself, a piece of trivia about a topic that interests you, or a new skill you've been curious about. Whatever it is, Take that first step. Learning isn't about reaching a destination. It's about embracing the journey. And with each step, you'll open new doors, not just to knowledge, but to a richer, more meaningful experience of life itself. 8. Set daily intentions. Have you ever ended a day feeling like it passed you by? Like you were running from one task to another without ever catching your breath? It's an all too familiar experience. Being swept up in the demands of daily life. Reacting to every new challenge or distraction without any real sense of direction. At the end of those days, there's often a feeling of emptiness. A nagging sense that something important was missing. That's where the practice of setting daily intentions can change everything. It's not just about organizing your time or being more productive, it's about living each day with clarity and purpose. Aligning your actions with the person you want to be. Buddhism teaches us about the power of intention, particularly through the principle of right intention. One of the steps on the Noble Eightfold Path. Intention shapes how we think, act, and ultimately, how we experience the world. It's not just about what we do, but why we do it. When you set daily intentions, you're choosing to guide your day consciously. Instead of letting it guide you, it's a way of saying, this is how I want to show up today. These are the qualities I want to embody. This is the energy I want to bring into the world. Setting daily intentions doesn't need to be a complicated ritual. In fact, its simplicity is part of its power. It can begin with just 5 quiet minutes in the morning. Before you dive into emails, to-do lists, or the hustle of the day, pause, take a deep breath and ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? What values do I want to honor? What matters most to me right now? These questions invite you to connect with your inner self, to listen to what you need and what you hope to give. Rachel's story beautifully illustrates how transformative this practice can be. As a small business owner, Rachel often felt overwhelmed by her endless list of responsibilities. She started each morning with the weight of unfinished tasks hanging over her. And by evening, she was emotionally drained. One day, she decided to try something different. Instead of letting her to-do list dictate her day, she began setting daily intentions. They were simple yet powerful. Today, I will focus on progress, not perfection. Today, I will bring patience to my conversations. Today, I will approach challenges with curiosity instead of frustration. These small shifts gave her a sense of control and purpose. Over time, Rachel found that her intentions became touchstones, helping her navigate even the busiest days with clarity and calm. The act of writing down your intention is a key part of the process. It doesn't need to be elaborate, just a sentence or two in a journal or planner can make a profound difference. By putting it into words, you're solidifying your commitment to yourself. It's like planting a seed in your mind that will grow throughout the day, guiding your thoughts and actions. Intentions such as I will approach my work with calm and clarity, or I will listen fully in conversations today, might seem small, but their impact is anything but. As the day unfolds, it's easy to get caught up in its demands and forget the intention you set in the morning. That's why it's important to revisit it periodically. Take a moment during lunch, after a meeting, or while waiting in line to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I aligning with the intention I set? Am I living the way I hoped to when the day began? These gentle reminders help you stay on course. And they also give you a chance to reset if you've drifted off track. Intentions don't have to be perfect. And they're not about controlling every moment of your day. They're about showing up with purpose. about creating a framework for how you want to live. Think of them as a compass, pointing you toward the values and qualities that matter most to you. Some days, you might follow that compass with ease. Other days, it might feel like a struggle. But what matters is the effort, the choice to begin again. The beauty of setting intentions is that it's not about adding more to your plate, it's about bringing clarity to what's already there. It's a practice that fosters mindfulness because it asks you to pause, reflect, and act with awareness. It transforms even the most ordinary day into an opportunity for growth and alignment. When you live with intention, you're not just going through the motions, you're creating a life that reflects who you truly are. At the end of the day, take a moment to reflect on how your intention shaped your experience. Did it help you approach challenges differently? Did it remind you to act with kindness, patience, or focus, even if the day didn't go exactly as planned? Celebrate the effort you made to live with purpose. Each day is a new chance to refine and deepen this practice, to become more aligned with your values and vision. Living intentionally doesn't mean life will always go smoothly, but it does mean you'll face each day with a greater sense of meaning and connection. By setting daily intentions, you're not just shaping your day, you're shaping yourself, one mindful choice at a time. So tomorrow morning, take a breath, set an intention, and see how it transforms the way you move through your day. You might be surprised at the sense of calm and clarity it brings, not just to your actions, but to your entire way of being. 9. End your day with reflection. As the day winds down, and the world begins to quiet, how often do you pause and truly reflect on the moments that made up your day? Not just a fleeting thought of "that was a tough meeting," or "I didn't get enough done," but a deliberate, gentle look at the full picture, what went well, what didn't, and what those moments taught you. For many of us, the end of the day can feel like a rush to switch off, a time to collapse into bed without a second thought. But reflection offers a chance to close each day with intention, to learn, to grow, and to set the stage for a better tomorrow. Buddhism places great importance on reflection, not as a practice of self-criticism but as a path to self-awareness. In reflecting, we begin to see how our thoughts, choices, and actions align with our values and intentions. We uncover patterns in our behavior, celebrate our small victories, and acknowledge the areas where we want to improve. Reflection isn't about seeking perfection, it's about finding clarity and cultivating mindfulness. When we take the time to look back on the day with an open heart and an honest mind, we create space for continuous growth. Imagine setting aside just 5 or 10 minutes each evening to sit quietly and think about your day. You might light a candle, write in a journal, or simply close your eyes and breathe deeply. Begin by asking yourself simple, open-ended questions. What went well today? What made you smile or feel proud? These small moments of joy and accomplishment, often overlooked, are worth celebrating. Did you handle a difficult situation with patience? Did you make someone's day a little brighter with a kind word? These wins, no matter how small, deserve your acknowledgement. Now consider what you learned today. Maybe it was a practical lesson, a new skill you practiced, or a problem you solved. Or perhaps it was something more personal, like recognizing an emotional trigger or understanding how a conversation made you feel. Reflection allows you to transform your experiences, both positive and challenging, into insights. It's about asking, what is this moment teaching me? And using that wisdom to grow. Tom's story is a perfect example of how transformative this habit can be. As a project manager, Tom was constantly stressed, feeling reactive and overwhelmed by the demands of his job. One evening, after a particularly draining day, he decided to try something different. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through his phone before bed, he took a few minutes to reflect. He asked himself, "What went well today?" and realized that, despite the stress, he had handled a conflict with a co-worker calmly and constructively. He also noticed that skipping lunch had made him irritable and less focused. By taking this time to review his actions and emotions, Tom gained insights into his strengths and the areas he needed to address. Over time, this simple practice helped him become more intentional in his decisions and less reactive to stress. Reflection also offers a gentle space to consider what didn't go as planned. This isn't about dwelling on mistakes or being hard on yourself, it's about recognizing where things could have been better and thinking about how you might approach them differently next time. Did you lose your patience in a conversation? Did you let distractions pull you away from your priorities? Instead of judging yourself, use these moments as opportunities to grow. Ask, "What can I learn from this?" And trust that every misstep is a chance to try again tomorrow. One of the most powerful aspects of reflection is its ability to cultivate gratitude. As you review your day, you'll start to notice the small, beautiful moments you might have otherwise missed, a laugh shared with a friend, the way the sunlight hit your desk, or the sense of accomplishment after completing a task. Gratitude shifts your perspective, reminding you of the abundance in your life, even on the most challenging days. The key to making reflection a meaningful part of your routine is to keep it simple and sustainable. You don't need to spend hours analyzing every detail of your day. A few minutes is enough to check in with yourself, celebrate your progress, and identify areas for growth. Write down your thoughts if that feels right, or simply sit with them in stillness. The act of pausing and looking inward is what matters most. As you end your day with reflection, you'll find that this practice does more than just provide clarity, it also creates a sense of closure. Instead of carrying the weight of the day's events into tomorrow, you acknowledge them, learn from them, and let them go. This nightly ritual becomes a way to honor your efforts, forgive your missteps, and prepare yourself for the opportunities of a new day. Reflection isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's a way to connect with yourself, to stay aligned with your intentions, and to approach life with curiosity and compassion. By taking the time to reflect each evening, you're not just looking back on the day, you're setting the foundation for a more intentional and fulfilling life. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take a moment to pause, breathe, and reflect. You might be surprised at how much wisdom and peace you uncover in those quiet minutes with yourself. 10. 2025 as a milestone. Picture yourself waking up on January 1st. 2025. The soft morning light filters through your window as you take a deep breath. Feeling calm and content, you glance back on the past year, and instead of regret or a sense of wasted time, you feel pride. You see the journey you've been on, not a perfect path, but one filled with intentional choices, small victories, and habits that have brought you closer to the person you always wanted to be. This isn't a fantasy or an unreachable dream. It's a vision that begins today, with small, steady steps that will carry you forward. In Buddhism, transformation is often compared to a river carving its way through rock, a gradual process that requires patience and consistency. There's no sudden, dramatic shift, no magic moment where everything changes overnight. True Lasting growth happens in the day-to-day decisions. The quiet discipline of showing up for yourself. Even when progress feels invisible. This is the essence of treating 2025 as a milestone, a marker in time where you can reflect on the changes that began with the smallest of efforts. To create that vision of your future self. Start by imagining who you want to be when 2025 arrives. What does your life look like? What habits define you? Perhaps you see yourself more balanced. With a calmer mind and stronger connections to those around you. Maybe you envision yourself pursuing a passion you've always dreamed of or feeling more physically and mentally healthy. Let yourself visualize that person fully, their mindset, their energy, their daily life. Now, ask yourself, what small actions today could bring me closer to that version of myself? Change doesn't require grand, overwhelming gestures. It's in the little things, the decision to spend a few minutes journaling. The choice to practice mindfulness instead of scrolling through your phone. The commitment to take a short walk or drink more water. These actions may seem insignificant in the moment. But they are the building blocks of transformation. They create momentum. And over time, that momentum becomes unstoppable. Lisa's story is a powerful reminder of what's possible when you start small and stay consistent. A talented but overworked graphic designer, Lisa felt stuck in a cycle of stress and creative burnout. She decided to set a vision for 2025 as the year she'd feel balanced and fulfilled. Instead of making drastic changes, she began by incorporating tiny habits into her daily routine, spending 5 minutes each morning in mindfulness, journaling for clarity at the end of the day, and carving out time each week to connect with loved ones. At first, these changes felt almost too small to matter, but as the months went by, Lisa noticed a shift. Her mind felt clearer, her relationships deepened, and her creative work flowed more freely. By the time 2025 arrived, she not only felt more aligned with her goals but also experienced a sense of peace and accomplishment she hadn't thought possible. Tracking your progress can make this journey even more rewarding. Consider using a journal or habit tracker to note the small wins along the way. Did you meditate for 5 minutes today? Write it down. Did you take one step toward a bigger goal? Celebrate it. These tiny victories add up, reminding you that growth isn't measured by leaps and bounds but by the steady accumulation of effort over time. It's important to remember that the road to 2025 won't always be smooth. There will be days when you slip, when motivation wanes, and when progress feels stagnant. But even on those days, you have the power to begin again. Each morning is a new opportunity to take another step forward. No matter how small, and every step counts. Even the imperfect ones. Progress isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. By the time 2025 arrives, you'll see how those small actions have transformed not just your habits but your entire way of being. You'll realize that the person you've become wasn't shaped by one big moment but by the countless little choices you made each day. You'll look back and see a year filled with intention, growth, and alignment, a year where you honored your values and moved closer to your aspirations. The habits you cultivate today are the foundation of your future self. They ripple outward, influencing not just your personal growth but your relationships, your work, and the way you move through the world. So as you envision 2025, don't focus on the enormity of the goal. Focus on what you can do right now. Start small, stay consistent, and trust the process. Transformation doesn't come from a single leap, it comes from the steady rhythm of showing up for yourself. Day after day. When you wake up on that first day of 2025, let it be with a sense of pride and gratitude for the journey you've taken. Let it be a moment to reflect on how far you've come, not just in what you've achieved but in who you've become. The future is shaped by what you do today. So start now. With one small, intentional step. And watch as those steps lead to extraordinary growth. Your 2025 self is waiting, and they'll thank you for the choices you make today. 11. Embrace transformation as a journey. We often picture transformation as a finish line, a destination where everything finally falls into place. Where the struggles end. And the ideal version of ourselves emerges. It's tempting to imagine that one day, through sheer determination, we'll arrive at perfection. But the truth is, transformation is not about reaching a fixed endpoint. It's a journey. A continuous process filled with twists, turns, progress, and setbacks. It's in the very act of moving forward, step by step, that real growth takes place. Buddhist teachings remind us of the impermanence of life. Everything is constantly changing, including us. This is both liberating and challenging. It means that no matter how stuck or stagnant we feel, there's always the potential for growth. But it also means that growth isn't linear. There will be moments when you feel like you're moving forward with clarity and purpose. And others when it seems like you've taken 2 steps back. What matters is not the destination but how you navigate the journey. When you embrace transformation as a journey, you learn to focus on the process rather than the outcome. The effort you put into your habits, the small victories you celebrate along the way, these are the moments that shape you. It's not about achieving a flawless version of yourself but about becoming more aligned with your values, more present in your daily life, and more resilient in the face of challenges. Each step, no matter how small or imperfect, is valuable because it's part of the path you're creating. Michael's story is a powerful example of this shift in perspective. As a software engineer, Michael spent years chasing perfection in his work and personal life. He believed that once he reached a certain level of success, everything else would fall into place. But no matter how much he achieved, it never felt like enough. He was constantly striving, constantly critical of himself for not being where he thought he should be. One day, he decided to approach things differently. Instead of focusing on the end goal, he committed to enjoying the process of learning and growing. He began to celebrate the small milestones, solving a challenging problem at work, improving his communication skills, or simply taking a moment to appreciate his efforts. This mindset shift didn't just make his journey more enjoyable, it also made his achievements feel more meaningful. Growth takes time. It's easy to become impatient, especially when progress feels slow or when setbacks arise. But patience is a cornerstone of transformation. Just as a tree doesn't grow overnight, neither do we. Every effort, no matter how small, contributes to your development. And when setbacks happen, as they inevitably will, it's important to forgive yourself and keep moving forward. Each misstep is an opportunity to learn, to recalibrate, and to begin again. The beauty of embracing transformation as a journey is that it allows you to stay present. Instead of being fixated on what you haven't achieved yet, you start to notice the richness of the moment you're in. You see the value in the effort you're making right now, even if the results aren't immediately visible. There's a quiet joy in the process, in showing up for yourself, in doing the work, and in trusting that each step is bringing you closer to the person you want to be. Think of transformation like a winding path through a forest. Some parts of the trail are smooth and easy, while others are steep and rocky. There might be times when you lose your way or feel like turning back. But every part of the journey is necessary. The challenges build resilience, The pauses give you time to reflect, and the effort you put into moving forward, no matter how small, is what makes the journey worthwhile. It's important to remember that you don't have to take this journey alone. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, who remind you of your progress when you lose sight of it. Share your struggles and your victories. No matter how small, transformation is deeply personal. But it's also something we experience together. The encouragement of others can be a powerful force in helping you stay committed to the path. As you embrace transformation as a journey, let go of the pressure to be perfect. Instead, focus on becoming more aligned with your values, more present in your everyday life, and more compassionate with yourself. Each day is an opportunity to take another step forward, to learn, to grow, and to reflect. The journey may not always be easy, but it is always worthwhile. When you look back, you'll realize that it wasn't one single moment or achievement that defined your growth. It was the collection of all those small, intentional steps you took along the way. It was the effort you made, the resilience you cultivated, and the joy you found in simply being present. Transformation isn't about arriving, it's about becoming. Trust the journey, and know that every step you take is bringing you closer to your best self. 12. Embrace transformation as a journey. Transformation is often imagined as a grand destination, a place where everything falls into place, where struggles dissolve, and life finally feels complete. But the truth is, transformation isn't about arriving at some perfect version of yourself. It's about the journey, the process of becoming. Every step, every stumble, and every small victory are part of that journey, shaping who you are in ways that are often more profound than the end goal itself. If you think about it, life is never static. Every day brings new experiences, challenges, and opportunities to grow. In Buddhist philosophy, this constant change is a reminder of impermanence, the idea that nothing stays the same. And that's what makes life beautiful. The same applies to self-transformation. It's not about locking yourself into one perfect state but embracing the ebb and flow of progress, learning, and becoming. It's about understanding that the journey itself holds the real value. When you focus too much on the destination, it's easy to lose sight of the progress you're making. You might feel frustrated when change doesn't happen as quickly as you'd like, or discouraged when setbacks occur. But the magic of transformation lies in the small, consistent actions you take each day. It's in the decision to show up for yourself, even when it's hard. It's in the moments when you choose to keep going, even when the path feels unclear. Each effort, no matter how small, builds momentum. Think of a river carving its way through rock, a slow, steady process that eventually shapes the landscape. Transformation works in the same way. It's not about giant leaps, it's about small, intentional steps that add up over time. When you embrace this mindset, you begin to see setbacks not as failures but as part of the process. Every stumble becomes a lesson, every detour an opportunity to reflect and adjust. Michael's story is a testament to this. As a software engineer, he spent years striving for perfection in every area of his life. He believed that if he could just reach a certain level of success, he'd finally feel fulfilled. But no matter how much he achieved, it was never enough. He constantly chased the next goal, the next milestone, without ever stopping to appreciate how far he'd come. One day, he realized that he was missing something crucial, the joy of the journey itself. Instead of fixating on perfection, Michael began to focus on the process of growth. He celebrated the small wins, like learning a new skill or completing a challenging project. And he allowed himself to appreciate the effort he was putting in. This shift in perspective didn't just make his journey more fulfilling, it also brought a deeper sense of satisfaction to his achievements. Patience is a vital part of this journey. Growth takes time. And progress is rarely linear. There will be moments when it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. That's okay. Transformation isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about forgiving yourself for the days when things don't go as planned and choosing to start again. Every day is a new opportunity to take a small step forward. No matter how small that step might be. Staying present is another essential part of embracing transformation as a journey. When you're focused solely on the future, it's easy to overlook the progress you're making in the present. But every moment, every effort, holds value. Even the challenges and setbacks have something to teach you if you're willing to pay attention. By staying present, you can find joy and meaning in the process itself, rather than waiting for some distant endpoint to bring you happiness. You don't have to take this journey alone. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, who encourage you to keep going when the path feels difficult. Share your victories and your struggles with them, and let their perspective remind you of how far you've come. Transformation is deeply personal, but it's also something we experience together. The connections you build along the way can be some of the most rewarding parts of the journey. As you continue on this path, remember that transformation isn't about achieving a perfect version of yourself. It's about becoming more aligned with your values, more resilient in the face of challenges, and more present in your everyday life. It's about recognizing that growth isn't a straight line, it's a series of twists and turns, highs and lows, that shape you in ways you might not expect. When you look back on this journey, you'll see that it wasn't one single moment or achievement that defined your transformation. It was the collection of all those small, intentional steps you took along the way. It was the effort you made, the lessons you learned, and the resilience you cultivated. Transformation is not about arriving, it's about becoming. Trust the process. Embrace the journey. And know that every step you take is bringing you closer to your best self. As we come to the end of this journey together, let's take a moment to pause and reflect. Think about the power of small, consistent steps, the way a single habit, practiced with intention, can ripple outward to transform not just your days, but your entire life. Every choice you make, no matter how small it may seem, is a step toward the person you want to become. And the beautiful thing is, this journey isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, being present, and embracing every moment, both the smooth and the challenging, with grace and intention. Transformation is a deeply personal journey, but it's one we share in spirit. Each of us is walking our own path, learning, growing, and striving to be better in our unique ways. That's what makes this community so special. We're not alone. Your struggles, your victories, your efforts, they all matter. And they're part of something much bigger than you might realize. As you think about what resonated most with you today, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What small step are you inspired to take? What habit are you ready to embrace? Your journey might just inspire someone else who's navigating a similar path. Let's create a space filled with positivity, support, and shared growth. Remember, even the smallest encouragement can make a world of difference to someone else. Thank you for spending this time with me. It means so much to have you here, reflecting on these ideas, and considering how they might fit into your life. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, I'd love for you to take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. By doing so, you're not just supporting this channel, you're joining a movement of people committed to living with intention, mindfulness, and growth. As you move forward from here, remember that every day is a fresh start. A new opportunity to take a step toward your best self. Be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress, and trust that the journey is worth it. You're not just creating habits, you're creating a life that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. And I'll be here, cheering you on every step of the way. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay present, and keep growing. I can't wait to see where your journey takes you. Let's continue this conversation in the comments. And together, let's build a community that uplifts and inspires. Thank you again for being here. And I'll see you in the next video.